Hey, I'm Allie, this is Gypsy, and today we're going to talk about a horse moving away from pressure. Now, when you put pressure on a horse, they should move away from it. That's that whole button system. The reason why this is so important is it keeps you from getting hurt. Because if a horse moved into pressure, they could press you up against something very easily. But this is actually the way that we cue. So if we want to go right, we are actually going to cue on the left side. Now, what happens if a horse doesn't give in to pressure? Then it must be retaught. And that's where we are with Gypsy. So what we are going to do today is we're going to talk about yielding the hindquarters, and I'm going to show you how to yield the hindquarters on a horse that doesn't know how to yield to pressure. First, I actually have realized that Gypsy doesn't yield to pressure. So what I want to do is I want her to actually yield the hindquarters from me. Now she's starting to understand that when I'm touching her hindquarters, she needs to move away from them, but not move her shoulder into me, because that's what's happening here. So she has to be able to yield her hindquarters from me without running me over into her shoulder. So I'm going to come back here in the back, and I'm going to keep my toes pointed in every time I touch her, and I get a nice crossover, release, 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 and good. That was very good. Considering we had a really bad time the first time, she figured it out really quickly. So all I have to do is go over here, go to the other side, and let's move. Hindquarters. One. I'm going to add pressure. There we go. I'm going to keep moving. No. There's where she wanted to actually come into me. So that's where I just move. There we go. Good. Move. There we go. So she's understanding that it doesn't even have to touch her, but she has to move away from it. Move. Move. There we go. And I'm keeping my shoulder up here to keep her away from me. There we go. There we go. See how I'm getting that crossover now? Come on, cross. 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 There you go. Cross. Good. Good. And as soon as I get a good couple of steps, that's when I'm going to release. So what we're doing is we're using the dressage whip to just come in here, and we're going to do ask, suggest, demand. So hopefully I don't have to get to the demand part. So I just move the whip. There we go. Good. Good. Come on. Good. And release of pressure. I know that seems like a lot going around and around, but I feel like she's finally understanding that when I touch her, I need her to move away from it. So touch, 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 and move away. Good. Touch, touch. There we go. Good. Now we're going to do this on the other side. I'm going to use this. I'm just going to touch her right here. Right where the muscle meets, right here. This is going to be, this right here. This spot right here is actually a pressure point to yield the hindquarters. Now all you have to do is we touch the button. I'm not going to hurt. So I just touch, 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 until I get a reaction, and I release. So I'm going to gradually add a bit more pressure right here. The reason I'm using the end of the whip is I don't want to get my hand in there. Ready? And touch, 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 and release. There we go. Touch, good. Touch, 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 good. Now I want a crossover, so I'm going to keep going until I get a crossover. Come on. There. Now I can release. The concept here is when they give to pressure, you release. So don't keep asking. You're going to lighten up, and you're going to give that release of pressure. Now she's already getting the idea after just the second session. And I'm very, very pleased with her. So there you go. That's yielding the hindquarters on a horse that normally doesn't yield to pressure. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. And if you enjoyed the video, give us a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you want to see more on Miss Gypsy here, check out her playlist.